Yeah, listener, definitely great insight in there. It was obvious that the crowd was affecting him when he walked out, and then glaringly obvious by his performance in the fight. And I said this before. I know that he wanted to kill himself, and they made a big deal about that. And I think it's really important to talk about mental illness, and I think that that's very brave of him to come forward and say that. But those things cannot be separated from being a head case in the fight, so to speak. They don't necessarily always have to go together. But I can tell you this, like, yeah, I was a gym hero, as they call it, meaning in the gym. Yeah, I've beaten up world champions. In the ring, I'd lose to guys who were absolutely terrible. And who can explain that stuff, right? Like, on the day of the fight, some guys just get better and better. And then sometimes on the day of fight, you don't. And, like, I think it's day to day. You're not all one or you're not all the other. I mean, we saw Huffy knock out King Green with a spinning hook kick that was pretty incredible, right? So you got to give it to him. The man has all the talent in the world to do all the things that he wants to do, but can he put it together on fight night? And he was fighting a huge Parisian crowd. I mean, they were, as loud and as boisterous as possible for their hometown guys. And I don't think there was a bigger hometown guy than Saint Denis, and probably because he's actually really friends, just like Kaio said, right? Like Mavov is a transplant, and that doesn't make him less French. It's just a simple fact of the matter. He wasn't born there. He doesn't have French blood. He's some type of Slavic, right, that came over there and sought a better life in France, and he's definitely made one for himself. But yeah, I think you pegged it entirely. I think that Huffy got overwhelmed. Now, keep in mind the other things I've said. Yes, he's obviously something of a head case to begin with, right? And then, in addition, the flight to France and the weight cut in France doesn't make things any easier, guys. You're not used to the foods. You can't go to the grocery store and get the kind of stuff you do. It's just cutting weight in a whole different country like that brings up whole other problems. You're jet lagged on top of it. So listen, crossing the Atlantic for that fight is not an easy thing to do, no matter who you are. And obviously with Huffy, it affected him terribly, and I feel bad for him. But listen, he'll be back, man. Just like the last listener said, I think that all his skills are there. He definitely could be a contender in the division still. I will say that Saint Denis was better than I thought he was. I literally thought he was, how do I say this? I thought he was another Michael Bisping, like someone the UFC wanted to win because Bisping was then the face of Europe, not just England, right? Like, and they did. They made Bisping into this incredible fighter, and Bisping did a lot of work to get there himself too, right? But they wanted him to succeed. I thought Saint Denis was the French version of that, and I'll tell you what. If he keeps fighting the way he fought that night, he may actually be the next Michael Bisping in Europe. We'll see. Everybody, like and subscribe for more on the Fight Game.